If you are looking for a playmaking build in 2K21, you've come to the right place. Let's get into it. Okay, so pie chart, we're going to want to go down here. You know which pie chart it is, the full yellow. So it's just 1, 2, 3 from the bottom. Quite easy to find. And it's a shooting guard build. You can make it whatever hand you want, whatever number you want, whatever name you want. Here we're going to go, you can go with, if you want to play a bit more defensively, of course you can lower the speed a little and go for increased vertical, but really I think it's better to just go straight up here, max speed, because we're going to be doing a lot of perimeter defense. We're not really going to be doing a lot of rebounding and all that, or anything in the interior. We're a playmaker, not a defender really. That's our primary focus. We'll leave that to the big men. So first of all, let's go down to playmaking. Max out this, chuck 1 in post moves. Like that, we've got our 30. Let's move on. Now you can get 28 if you don't want a silver badge in here, but having the silver badge is quite handy. Otherwise, you're going to just have your 7 different Hall of Fame badges and your 1 silver badge. Let's go back up to finishing. Max out this, max out this, max out this. Okay, and then max out this. I mean, see, you can do that. That doesn't really do much though. I'm going to chuck this at 9. I think that's where I had it before. There we go, 9. That's our little sweet spot. Okay, you want to max out your mid-range, your 3. By the way, this build can shoot, so you want to leave it there. If you want more shooting badges, be my guest. You can do it. You can get, you want 15. So that'll give you an additional gold shooting badge if you want to do it a bit different to me. It's just going to affect your defense badges. So we're going to go down here. So you're only going to have 1 defense badge then. So if you're really good at defense, all you need is bronze clamps. Be my guest, do that. But I like to have a bit more defense, even if it impacts my shooting a little. So we're going to go down, we're going to have 12 here. There it is. We can go, there's the sweet spot there. The free throw is at 83, if you're wondering. There we go. We get 4 defensive badges. And I actually think that's a little off. I'm pretty sure we can get a few more. I forgot how, maybe I was thinking about one of my other builds. It's been pretty hectic at the moment in terms of builds. But if you don't want that additional badge and you want maybe, I think you can get 1 more into your shooting. No, you can't. Maybe. Yeah, there you go. So I was right. You can get 1 more in your shooting, which is probably how I do it for my thing. Otherwise, you know, you could put on bronze pick dodger or something with gold clamps if you wanted to. But I'll show you why it's probably better to have that additional shooting badge later on. So I'm going to go skinny, or, you know, slight as it's called. You can make it whatever you want here. It just looks a bit glitchy with that. 6'5" is what we want to go with. As you see, there's no real point going any smaller than that. There's no point really going any taller than that either. You know, you can go 6'7", but it really takes away a lot of like the features that you had, which were really good. And your layup goes down like a ton, which is crazy. And you don't get like better dunk or anything. It just all goes down. It's just shocking. Your defense goes, yeah, you don't really gain anything from doing this. And the same with 6'6", you don't really gain anything. Your shot's going down. So you just want to leave it. You don't want to even go down to 6'4". And don't worry if your ball handle's 94. We'll fix that in a second. So you're just going to want to leave it at 6'5", and move on. Minimize this real quick. Okay, now we're going to find the sweet spot. So it's somewhere, it's going to be a very fast build. So there, you can have it like that, or you can even increase it a little more if you want to just have it like that if you want. So that's an option. Or you can be super speedy and have max acceleration too, which is probably what I'd want to do, just because it makes it so fun. So then we're going to want to minimize this wingspan here. It's going to impact our dunk a little. So if you maximize it, your shot's going to go down, your ball handle's going to go down a little too. Your defense doesn't go up much, and neither does your finishing really, so it's not really worth it. Just trust me on this one. I actually think the best spot is, so you can go down to 77, here and get one more mid-range point. But really, for what it's worth, I'd rather have the close shot point, and I'll show you guys why later on with that, and the extra steal point too. So that's really a personal opinion, but also you got to remember your guys' arms are going to be physically longer then too. So that's what I like to go with, this 77.9 there. You don't want to go with 78, you want to go with one of these two though. So I'm going to go with 77.9. Now all of these are great options here to go with. I'm going to go with playmaker though, because the passing becomes insane on this. And you see we actually get a slashing playmaker with shades of Devin Booker, Pete Maravich and Bradley Beal. So while it's not titled as a playmaker, or just the words playmaker, that's because of our slashing ability, which is pretty good actually. And that's the thing, is that this build can shoot, right? So if we go to max here, we've got a 78 3-point shot. If you guys have seen a similar slashing build out there, that build can shoot at 77 3. And you can, as long as you're greening, you can even make some whites. You can, be making shots. So people aren't going to realize that this actually has the ability to shoot, this build here. And I was doing some footage before. I'm not even sure if I saved it. I should have if I didn't. But it was crazy. I was making all these different threes. It was insane. I was greening some. I made a white. It was just really, really insane. So we're going to continue now. Go to our badge setup, and go into finishing badges. We're going to start with Pro Touch here, and then we're going to go over here and check on Teardropper. So we're going to be using a lot of floaters and runners with this sort of build, because we have a good driving layup and we have a good close shot, and we have a really good mid-range too. It's not even decent, it's really good. Let's not undersell it here, right? Now it's a bit murky how floaters and runners work, and it's all depends on where you are, I'm pretty sure. So I've looked a lot into this. There might be a video coming out later on my channel about how they work, me doing some testing on that. But if you're in close, it's going to be mostly the close shot is what it's going to be based on. If it can also be driving in, so like a driving layup, and you can do some really deep ones which have a bit more of a mid-range feel to them. But this definitely having all of them, because we have all of those areas. If we go back, and I'll just go back and show you, we have all of those areas in the 80s, right? So by having all of those areas in the 80s, and then having the badge as well, you're going to be making a lot of those floaters. And I'm not just talking about like wide open ones, because you're probably going to be making them all the time anyway. I'm talking about contested ones. I've had games where I'm making, yellows and stuff like that. Not really reds, but yeah, I'm making yellows. I'm making, light contests too, of course, and wide opens. I'm greening them. It's really good. So here we've checked on Pro Touch. You can check on Consistent Finisher as well, which seems to work, because we're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing our floaters using the Pro Stick by holding the Pro Stick down. You can do it your other weird way if you want to, but really that's so much easier by holding down Pro Stick. You're going to green it way more. You could check on Giant Slayer if you wanted, or Slithery Finisher, which is another good option. You avoid traffic on your way to the rim. But I think Contact Finisher is probably one of the best ones, because then you're able to have that versatility. But really it's up to you, whatever you want. Actually, I might chuck on Slithery Finisher. It's probably a bit better because you're going to avoid more contact and you're not going to get blocked as often then as well. But if you want to be more versatile and mix up, your slashing, so you go from you have a floater game, and then you mix it up and you also have like really aggressive slashing game where you're going in and taking it hard and laying it off the glass. Definitely go Contact Finisher, because that works for both layups and dunks, as you can see there, if you give that a quick read, which I won't do now. I've got to continue on because we're going on to our shooting badges. So we got 13 of these, which are really nice. So first of all, catch and shoot. You're not going, you can be, don't get me wrong. If you're really good at greening your shots, you can change this, right? If you're good at greening your shots, this is what I do. Check on Green Machine, check on Deadeye, check on Hot Zone Hunter, check on Range, And then I wouldn't put this on. I'd go make this 12 shooting badges instead and chuck the other one on defense, if that's me. Or you can chuck it on something else, right? Maybe like that. But I'd probably put it on defense, put it on pick dodger, because you've got gold clamps and pick dodger then. It's going to be, and bronze pick dodger, sorry. Which is going to be a bit better. So if you're really good at creating your own shot and greening, which is like, this isn't intended for that, with only 78 3 ball, but it can be done. So if you want to do that, go ahead, be my guest. That's what I'd recommend there. But as a spot up shooter, this is actually crazy good, this build. Especially if you have someone else who's got dimer on your team, you're going to be making a lot of these. If they got Hall of Fame dimer or even gold dimer, it's going to be good. So what you're going to do is you want to be a catch and shoot specialist, right? And you want to set up in the corners. So we're going to go silver. If you've got only 12, I'd probably go gold, I think. I can't remember what I did before, but I mean, silver is about the same as Hall of Fame we've seen from badge testing on different websites, so you might as well go with that. Then we're going to want to go over here and put on gold flexible release, gold hot zone hunter. We don't want range extender, because range extender only works for the front of the court, so that front 3 area. It doesn't work for corner 3s. It doesn't have any impact, range extender. So you either pick corner specialist or you pick range extender. And because we're going to be shooting corner 3s, we want to have corner specialist on. Now from here, we actually want to get rid of one. Go like that. Oh yeah, so you can also have on Deadeye if you'd want. Right? So if there was something you didn't like here, maybe you didn't want to have flexible release, you weren't too keen on that, you take that off. There's your 12. Or this is mostly for wide open, so Deadeye is really not that going to be that great, but probably flexible release going to help you out more. So this is probably what I'd suggest if you've got 12. And then if you've got 13 like I do, well, yep, there we are. Check on silver green machine, which is actually really good. Badge testing has shown that silver green machine is still quite good, and very similar to Hall of Fame. And silver corner specialist is very close to Hall of Fame too. So this is actually a really good badge setup for the corners, and people are going to leave you open to shoot anyway, so you don't really need to worry about Deadeye. You don't need to worry about range extender or volume shooter or hot start or any of these. Hot start especially, because I can't confirm that you're going to make your first shot unless you're insane and you're greening every shot, So this is the setup you want to run as a catch and shoot corner specialist here, taking all your shots in the corner. And you will make a lot of them. You'll be surprised. I went to a game and I was making all of them. I'm not sure if I got the footage, as I said earlier, but it was crazy. I was actually made a lot of 3s and a lot of mid-ranges. So now we're up to our big 30 playmaking badges. So essentially the way I like to do this is 7 Hall of Fame and a silver. So let's start with the 2 big ones in my opinion. Dimer and floor general. These are really important because that's your primary job, is the playmaker. So you want to make the rest of your team really good as well as yourself. So by having dimer on, you're going to boost that shot percentage like crazy, especially for wide open shots. And by having floor general on, it's going to increase that as well. It's going to increase that person's 3-point rating. So I'm pretty sure it's like a +5 when this is on Hall of Fame. And it varies depending on what it's on. So on bronze it's like +1, which is nothing, so there's no point. But on a Hall of Fame it's a crazy increase, and the same with dimer. So like people are going to be knocking down shots when you've got these 2 badges on. Then I'd also chuck on quick first step. If you're really good at the flashy pass thing, chuck on flashy pass, alright? But if you're not, don't. It actually is. Hello, are we back? Hello? I think my mic just cut out for a second there. Give me a sec. Yeah, we're back. Okay. So I don't know what happened there. It's been a bit dodgy at the moment. So I have to get a new mic soon. But Dime up, floor general, quick first step. From here, right, if you're a big fan of, you could use tight handles, but how much are you really going to be breaking down your defender? Like, these badges here are all your ball handling badges. So you could chuck those on. They're all really good as well and really fun to use, I'd say. So, and I definitely recommend, especially handles for days, chuck that on because your dribbles are going to be really good and help you get into the rim quickly or, get yourself an open shot. And you can chuck on tight handles as well if you want. You can chuck on ankle breaker if you'd want to. And so, say you do something like this, then you've got your silver badge to put wherever you'd like. Personally though, I think ankle breakers, it's a fun badge to use, but if you're looking to do something a bit more serious, definitely chuck on Lob City Passer there. Might take off Flashy Passer and put on something else. Personally, I'd like to put on, not Dream Shake, sorry. Go down here to Needle Threader. Now this is a badge that's super underrated. Even if you want this on silver, right? This is super good on silver. It's super good on even bronze, but it's way better on Hall of Fame. And this is literally just stops you from having the ball turned over. Stops it gets the ball past the defense essentially really easy. So if we you see when passing through a tight window between defenders, a boost is given to the player's passing ability. So it just essentially gives you these ultra good passes, ultra tight passes, especially on cuts. If you have like a slashing big man, or just a big man who wants to score a little bit, or even other players who want to score, or you're about to drive in and then you want to kick out. So of course there's bail out here if you want, but that's not really cool. If you're about to do a layup and then you want to kick out and there's two defenders on you, that's going to always get it through, right? So that's really handy to have. And then I'd put on silver unpluckable. You can have more than silver, but it's really ridiculous and it's overkill. Even having gold's overkill in my opinion. Bronze doesn't really do much, but silver is the perfect amount. I chuck this on my big men as well. It works really well. It stops people from stripping you. All kinds of people can't strip you, including, your perimeter lockdowns and all that. So, we'll give you one more look. That's what I would go with if you're going for a bit more of a sweaty comp setup there. Or, chuck this out and put in Flashy Passer. Because then, check that on too. We forgot to put that on. If you're not going to be doing these tough passes, chuck on Flashy Passer because that is going to boost your takeover meter like crazy, see? And then you're going to get, takeover. You're going to be giving people more assists. They're going to be scoring more. It's going to be insane. So that's what I suggest for playmaking. Now defense, you want to go with clamps. If you have one extra on, if you have the 4, go and chuck that on Pick Dodger there. Right, pretty simple stuff. That's all it is. You want that gold clamps. If you're really good defense, chuck that on bronze or something, and then you can chuck the rest into gold pickpocket or something, or gold pick dodger if that's really what you want. I like to go gold clamps though, lock down my defender, and then bronze pick dodger if you've got the 4th one instead of the shooting there. That's what you're going to want to do. So one last look at the attributes before we finish up. I'll quickly calculate the total here. Whew. So we actually have in total 55 for this build as well. So quite a few builds with 55 at the moment in them. You have insanely good speed. Strength isn't too bad because you're a guard. Your vertical is not great, let's be honest, but you're not going to be doing much rebounding anyway. You've got good defense, right? You have good shooting. You have good finishing. And you definitely have great playmaking, right? So just remember, keep in mind your finishing. You want to be looking for predominantly floaters. The floater game is probably the best place to be playing around in there because you have that nice driving layup, you have that good mid-range, and you have that good close shot, all of them in the 80s. So I'd suggest doing a lot of floaters, and that's why I chucked on floater specialist over here. But you can also, mix it up a little bit chuck in some of those, you know, more contact heavy layups as well to keep the defense on guard. But, you know, make sure you get in those floaters because they are super underrated, really tough to guard, especially when you chuck on the layup package floater specialist. It becomes insane. You can green tons of them, and you're just going to be an unstoppable force because you're going to, if you don't get your shot off, and you're going to have a lot of good shots, mind you, because you can shoot, you can finish, you can defend, and then you can pass as well. So really, it's going to be a really tough time for your opponents dealing with you. So this is the ultimate playmaking build. I know it's a slashing playmaker, so it's not got the title playmaker, but in terms of its role, it is predominantly a playmaker. So we go back in. These are your options for takeover. See, you got playmaker there. And when it comes down to it, this build is an elite playmaker, okay? There might be something better, but this build is surely gonna, you know, if you want to do a bit of everything, this is the build for you. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing, it helped me out a ton. And that's it for this video. See you later.